Just when I thought the Browns possibly couldn't get any worse of a week in terms of injuries, they do something like they did Thursday night and totally redeem themselves. In honor of Dumb and Dumber, in honor of it being 12:35 on a Friday morning / Thursday night, I'm your host, Josh Bulha, with Joe Gilbert. We're back with another edition of Browns Incident Insights, WFNY Podcast Edition. Joe, the Browns, they obviously won. If you're listening or if you're watching us live, they obviously won 17-14 over the Broncos. It seemed like it was a much closer game than the score would appear. Even at halftime, they dominated the first half and it was only 10-0. I know you were there tonight. One, how was the atmosphere? The lights being off pregame for intros looks awesome.
Yeah.
Two, how is it just being there, seeing a win? Oh, and before we go on, I bought this jersey the day before the Bears game. I wore it to the Bears game. Myles Garrett had 4.5 sacks. I haven't worn it since. I was like, oh, shoot, I'm going to break out the Myles Garrett jersey. So I'm sorry that the Browns have played like shit the last 3 weeks. It's all my fault. It will never happen again. I will always wear this on game day. Joe, but tell me about the experience.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. The intros were pretty awesome. I love that they turned the lights off and strobe lights and all that. That was pretty cool. And the crowd was really good. The weather held off for pretty much the whole entire game, so it was a nice game, and I'm just glad they got the W. Any way they possibly could, they got it done. That was huge.
I feel like I know I tweeted this during the game. The hashtag for the rest of the year should be #FindAWay. No matter who's on the field, no matter who's hurt, no matter if freaking Dearness Johnson, who saw that coming, by the way? We'll talk about him. He deserves literally 2 hours of a podcast alone. But they were without RB1, RB2, QB1. Odell was banged up. Jarvis Landry was banged up. Denzel Ward went out with a hamstring. Oh my gosh, he cannot stay healthy. I love the guy to death. He cannot stay healthy. Jack Conklin was out. The Browns just found a way. No matter how, I wouldn't even say tonight's game was ugly. It really they won ugly, quote unquote, in Minnesota, their last win 3 weeks ago. But I wouldn't consider tonight's game ugly. I'd say that they dominated besides a couple of drives. And two, they just did what they had to do in a colder, it wasn't cold weather. It was like 40s and 50s. That's not cold. Yeah. But they just did what they had to do.
Yeah. Someone called it a grind. It was a ground out win. It wasn't ugly or anything like that. It just, they just kind of fought and, they went with their back to their main or their basics and ran that ball, trusted in the O-line, and they delivered. They didn't make any mistakes all day, which was huge. That was one of the big things going in. We couldn't make any mistakes with Case Keenum in the lineup, because he's not a guy who's you want really behind the sticks or behind the game. So. Yeah, it was huge to get Giedrick back. We didn't have to play Hudson anymore, and it's night and day the difference when they got at least one of the starting tackles, and Hans played well, so that was good too. And the offensive line. Shout out to the offensive line. They controlled that game. They were the stars of the game with Dearness Johnson. They mauled the Broncos pretty much all day. It was one of those maybe we saw a lot last year where they put them away with the run game late. It was great to see. They didn't give them the ball back. Didn't make it interesting at the end. They just said, "We're done. We're gonna run this clock out," and they did. That was a hell of a performance by them.
Yeah, I mean, Dearness Johnson deserves a whole lot of credit for how well he did. But part of the reason why he dominated as much as he did was the offensive line. I mean, there were holes there. I'm 6'6" and slow myself, but I could have ran through those holes. Let's be honest.
It was
It was, and Jedrick Wills just played a full game for the first time since week 2. Am I correct, or did I miss him going out at some point? So
no,
that's huge.
Yeah.
So maybe that week off did hit him a lot of good. But yeah, I mean the offensive line. If there were 2 game balls I'd give out, one would be Dearness Johnson. The other would be the entire offensive line. I guess there'd be 6 game balls then. You can't really give 1 game ball to 5 dudes, but
split it up.
Split up into 5. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, when the offensive line dominates the trenches like they did tonight, you're going to win a lot of football games. Even if you have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt in the backfield, or you have Dearness Johnson in the backfield.
Yeah, it was impressive. It was really impressive. It was probably I would say their best run performance of the year, and that's saying something.
That's saying something when literally your top 2 running backs and 2 of the top running backs in the league, and basically the best 1-2 punch in the league is out.
Right, and all the success they've already had this year, it was incredible. The holes that they created, the run lanes, and they didn't really have that. Maybe like 1 or 2 negative runs all day. It was impressive. They did whatever they wanted, and they controlled the line of scrimmage all day. It was a great performance. They needed that. They needed that so much. That Case Keenum, he is who he is. He's not going to be the big play guy that we see in Baker that can throw downfield. And they just kind of circulate down the field, and they did. And the run game was huge in getting that offense going. That was and shout out along with the offensive line and Dearness. Shout out to Kevin Stefanski. He was in his bag today. He put on a great game.
That first drive, one. How often does an NFL team win the coin toss and say, "Hey, we want to receive it"?
With our backup quarterback.
With the backup quarterback and third string running back. Kevin Stefanski, I'd be interested. I'm sure no one asked him, but I'd be interested to see if that's what he wanted, because he loved his script for the first drive and he wanted to take a 7-0 lead. Because I mean, they literally went down the field like it was against a bunch of Pee Wee football players.
It really was. Yeah, that was an impressive drive. They did the screenplay and a big chunky run, and it was a really good drive. And it continued the whole game. The use of just a short passing game, the play action, it showed that Case Keenum was very comfortable in that play action. I think they ran. It seemed like they ran more play action with him than Baker the whole entire year. It seems like almost every play was at least like a fake handoff or something like that. It was a really great game plan, and they ran it to perfection. They had 1 block field goal. That was the only kind of negative. But yeah, it was a great game. It was I'm really impressed by what they did as a whole entire unit.
Yes, and when Dearness Johnson runs like he did tonight, and when combine that with the fact that Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry were both back, and that Denver is not good at defending the play action, I'd literally run the play. If you're either running the ball or you're running the play action, literally every time. I mean, there were times, I know during the first drive, they did a play action and then had Jarvis sneak out to the flat on the left side, and he was wide open. And then in the third quarter, they tried the same exact play, and he wasn't open. And I think Case Keenum threw it to Austin Hooper in the middle.
Yeah.
It was a really weird pass.
That was he almost got his head cut off.
Yeah, exactly. So you could tell that they were just, you're either going to run the ball or you're going to run a play action, and you can't stop us.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Browns only scored 17 points, but the offense dominated tonight.
It really did, yeah. They control the clock. I think I know in the first, I didn't see the final time of possession, but the first half they were I think it was 21-9.
It was 21-9 in the first half. It ended up being 37-23.
Yeah, that's another thing that was huge going in. Like this wasn't an offense that we were gonna. outscore the other team and just play a high shootout game. They needed to control the clock. They did that. And it was just they did everything that they needed to win, and that was fun to see.
Before we move on from Dearnest, Scott Kordick, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. 1, thanks for tuning in. 2, I'm sorry you had to. I hope you got to at least watch some of that game because that was a really fun game, or listen to it. I listened to Jim Donovan call some of those plays too. But you said Dearnest Johnson going to get traded at the peak of his value in 3 games? And then we'll move on to the second question, which I feel like is very popular. 1, Dearnest Johnson. No, I don't think he gets traded. Simply because
I don't know how much value he has.
Yeah, exactly. You won't get much. I feel like he has more value. He offers a lot more value to have him on the team than to trade him for like a 7th round pick. Because let's be honest, other teams know that he's a restricted free agent. They're not going to trade for a 3rd string running back, no matter how good he looked in tonight, when he could just leave during the offseason. So he provides a lot more value and depth to the Browns than he would in a trade.
Yeah.
Secondly, I feel like it's the same. I can answer the same way with OBJ.
Yeah,
he provides a lot more value to the Browns than the Browns would get back in the trade for him. Because let's be honest, OBJ is not going to really get you anything. 1, he hasn't really proven anything over the last couple of years. 2, he's hurt.
Yeah.
And 3, you have to have 2 to tango. You can't just be like, hey, Browns, I'm the Browns. I want to trade OBJ. Give me a 3rd round pick. You're not getting a 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
So for both of those answers, and I feel weird. I promise I'm not comparing Dearnest Johnson to OBJ, but each of them provide more value to the Browns than the Browns would get back in return.
Totally. Yeah, I agree. Totally. Yeah. OBJ. I feel bad for him, man. I really do. He seems like he's trying so hard to get on this team, be pretty productive. He probably should have played today. He went in he fell down on the sideline and looked like so much in pain. I couldn't believe he came back, and he had a really good second half coming back on that. But yeah, I feel so bad for him. It just doesn't. It just seems like one thing after another is just going against him. Like now, so we started the year, he was hurt, and then when he came back, Baker was hurt, and now Baker's out, and he's hurt. So it just seems like nothing is aligning for Baker and OBJ, and it's his value right now is pretty much nothing on the trade market. So there's no point of trading him. I still believe he is so talented that he can make big plays for this offense still. It may not be as frequent as we would like, but I'd rather have that potential. And he still draws coverage. I don't know. His reputation still brings the coverage over to him, so he's valuable in that. And I wouldn't trading him would make no sense really, and trading Dearness would make no sense either.
Yes, yeah, I completely agree. It's a good question, but I just feel like I said, I just feel like they provide more value to the Browns than the value that the Browns would get back in return in a trade. Yeah. And before we move on from injuries, I completely forgot Donovan Peoples-Jones, groin injury, suffered in freaking warm-ups. It's crazy how many injuries this offense has had to deal with.
So many. It's just hitting one side or the other at the same time. We had I think it was the Rams game where almost every defender it seemed like was out. Now it's just the entire offense is getting attacked. So it is, it's been a rough year. I liked post game. They said Stefanski told the team the injuries don't matter. Everybody gets injuries in the NFL, and we just got to fight through it. So that was a good message for him. But
that
just
one. Right. No, go on.
Just in fact, it's kind of ridiculous what they're at right now. Not many people are losing their quarterback, both top running backs. They're both offensive tackles.
Their top three wide receivers.
Right. Yeah, it's a bit insane, but they fought through it and still got the win. So that's what I like to see. Yeah, it's
If you would have told me that there would be a
frustrating.
game where Case Keenum would be starting, Dearness Johnson would be next to him in the backfield, Jack Conklin would be out, Jarvis and Odell shouldn't be playing, but they are. Given, let's be honest, if this team was fully healthy, I don't think either of them play tonight.
No.
And then DPJ gets hurt in warmups. They're literally without their quarterback, top 2 tackles, top 2 running backs, top 3 wide receivers, and they still found a way to win.
Yeah.
And Kevin Stefanski say that like injuries happen to everyone in the NFL. Yeah. Injuries don't happen like this to everyone in the NFL. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I know. People are like bringing up the Ravens, but the Ravens had big ones, but they were spread out. It was like, this is just insane. Like the amount of on one side of the ball, and in multiple positions in each unit. It's incredible. And hopefully this week it's like a mini bye week this week. So hopefully they can have a good week and kind of rest off this weekend, and we'll see what we got. I can't really think of. I know kind of late in the game there was a few injuries, but it didn't look like we suffered a lot today. I know they said Jarvis is okay, so that's good to hear. I think Denzel is the only one going out that's a little bit concerning, but hopefully he can come back and be all right. And the rest of the guys who were out are getting better. So hopefully in Pittsburgh. We're playing Pittsburgh next, that we can have a more healthy lineup.
Yeah, I mean, you moved over to the defensive side of the ball, so let's talk about that for a little bit.
Well, before we go, we need to talk about Baker. The Baker news earlier in this.
Oh gosh, how did I like? Woo!
I know.
All right, so Baker, he not only has a fully torn labrum, he also. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the shoulder bone that he.
It's a humerus bone that's broken, so pretty much a broken shoulder.
So it's a humerus bone, but it's not in any way funny.
No.
So he has, and I mean, he's going to try to play through it.
I just don't know how.
I don't think he can. Yeah. I'll be honest. I don't think. And then he said he's going to he's going to wait for it to heal and try to play through it. One, Baker is literally going to do anything possible to play.
Yeah.
And it's hard as a head coach or anyone on the team to tell your quarterback, no, you can't. I feel like that's like, especially with what's on the line for Baker, one, the expectations for this team, and two, even if he doesn't say that he cares about it during the season, he does. There's a contract on the line for Baker Mayfield.
I know.
There's millions of dollars on the line.
Right.
No matter what you say as a human being, you care about millions of dollars 365 days a year.
It is a tough position. It's a tough position to both for the team and the player. I really don't know how he can play through this. It's a freaking broken shoulder, man. I don't care if it's not even it's throwing. A lot of people have pointed out. Jake Burns of the OBR has pointed out multiple times how much it can affect you throwing. You can't put everything into it, and it's affecting him. And I don't know. Just if he takes another hit, I just don't know how he can just keep getting back up and trying out. It sucks. It really does. It sucks.
It's not only affecting him physically,
yeah,
but you can tell that it's affecting him mentally.
Yeah.
Like I know if you guys, great dude. He used to be a former used to be with us little guys here at Waiting for Next Year, and then he went big time. But he does he does Chalk Talk Tuesday nights, I think 7 p.m. on OBR's Twitch. So I'm throwing that one out there because I watched it this past Tuesday. Even if you learn a lot about, or even if you know a lot about football or know little to nothing, you're going to learn a lot from Jake.
Yeah.
And just going through the film, Baker had guys open last week down the field, and it was like he double clutched because he either didn't trust himself because he's not right mentally. Well, he is right. I don't mean that in football ways. He's not right mentally. or he doesn't trust himself because his arm, and he doesn't think he can throw it that far. So it's very clear that even though it's his non-throwing shoulder, mechanically, even if it messes you up a tiny bit mechanically, in the NFL, that tiny bit is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah.
I mean, you have to, if it's affected him with his left shoulder, he has to make up for it somewhere else, which completely messes with your mechanics.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing can just affect so much. And a guy who's kind of relies on his accuracy and ball placement, it's not a good thing when that messes up. I just don't know what the plan will be. I know they keep saying
Case Keenum.
Right. I don't know if he can sit out maybe a few games, and that will help at least heal the shoulder part, the broken shoulder part. I don't know. I think I saw on some of the doctors that are on Twitter say maybe a month can help. I don't know.
By the way, Joe said doctors that are on Twitter, not Twitter doctors. There's a huge difference between the two. Huge difference.
Yes, there is. Yeah, so it's going to be a tough one. It showed. If anybody had any questions, by the way, the difference between Case Keenum and Baker Mayfield, I think today kind of answered it, because Keenum had no chance throwing it down the field. He threw some lollipops, to say the least.
Tonight was perfect, honestly, because Keenum didn't do enough to be like, oh my gosh, just start Trace Keenum, just start Case Keenum forever and let Baker Mayfield walk. Like, the Browns won, and Case Keenum, I love the guy. He is a great backup quarterback. He gets paid $6 million to be a backup quarterback, but it's for situations like tonight, and I think, I'll be honest, for the foreseeable future. Mm-hmm. But it's very clear that Baker at full strength is better than Case Keenum. So let's just put that to rest.
Yeah.
I know the Kyle Laletta people are out there too. Is that his name? Was that the Browns' third string quarterback?
Yep.
So just put it to rest.
Yeah.
I know you want to call your local sports talk radio in the morning. Baker Mayfield is better than Case Keenum.
Yes.
Now, should the Browns trade Nick Chubb? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
If you want to know the definition of game manager, you saw it tonight. That was a game manager right there.
He
did. He ran the playbook perfectly, but he didn't really kind of exceed any expectations. Didn't make any wow plays. He took what was given, and he
took what was there and didn't make mistakes. Which I am writing my behind the numbers piece. Unless I fall asleep on my couch tonight, it will be posted on waitingfornextyear.com in the morning. But in that, I already wrote Case Keenum, against better opponents. Later in the year. In the playoffs, you'll need more than a game manager in the NFL. But against an opponent like tonight against the Broncos, all you needed him to do was to make plays when they were there and not turn the ball over. That's what he did.
Yep, that's exactly what he did. It's going to be probably a bit different once we play Pittsburgh's defense, but that's a week and a half away. So,
but then again, the good thing about playing Pittsburgh's defense is that we also get to play Pittsburgh's offense.
Big Ben, can't wait. So that's actually a good transition to the defense now.
I tried to transition it, and then you had to bring up freaking Baker's ill shoulder. All right, but defensively, I guess the first thing I want to talk about, I think it didn't happen in the second half, which I don't know why John Woods went against it, but John Johnson III playing up in the box, which is where he excelled as a Los Angeles Ram over the years, and then the Browns signed him to a long-term deal, gave him a lot of money, and have used him primarily at safety, not in the box. He, made a play, I think, behind the line of scrimmage, and then had like a pass breakup in the first quarter, and then he didn't really do much or anything besides that.
Well, the interception. But yes.
Oh, the interception. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So he had an interception and a tackle for loss, I think is what it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
but both were while he was in the box. So it's very clear that is one where he's comfortable, and two, I mean, if you're going to have one of your highest paid defenders besides Myles Garrett, you want him to make plays. So use him where he's good. And I know he alluded to it. I think it was not this past week, but the week prior. He basically, if you read it between the lines in this press conference, he basically said, I want to be up playing in the box more, not just as a deep safety. So I'm just hoping that Joe Woods more than 50% of the time uses them up in the box rather than a deep safety.
Yeah, it's we saw it kind of was a Jekyll Hyde today. The first half was very good. We saw a lot more kind of tight coverages, and he was up in the box, as you said. And then it kind of fell apart in the second half. They gave him 2 very, very long, excruciating drives, which were just. Once again, we couldn't get off the field on third down, which is just a continuation.
I'm going to interrupt you because I was just bringing up third downs before you go on. So, Joe just said, first half, really good. They got off the field. They were in press man coverage. John Johnson was playing in the box a lot rather than deep safety. I don't think it's a coincidence that the Broncos were 0 for 3 on third down in the first half. Then, transition to the second half, John Johnson's more a safety. They're not really pressing man coverage. They're letting the Teddy Bridgewater and his receivers have whatever they want short, basically. I don't think it's a coincidence. Wait, yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence. I just heard myself. Okay, there we go. No, you're good. You're good. All right, so they were 0 for 3 on third downs in the first half. The Broncos were. In the second half, they were 5 for 8. I think you can tell why. If I just made my point, I think you can tell why. Why not just use press man coverage, make him beat you deep, and use John Johnson in the backs more, especially without JOK on the field.
Yeah, it's I don't know what's. I really don't know what Joe Woods is. I don't know. I can't really figure him out anymore, man. He seemed like he was doing the stuff that we needed to in the first half, and then it kind of just regressed back to what we saw in the last 2 games. It's frustrating, and if he doesn't start like consistently doing this is not going to be good. And I don't know. It's frustrating to see.
So while Joe transitions from phone to computer, we are going to. There we go.
And we're back. Look at that.
Oh wow, clean, the sound. Man, that was clean. Man, it's almost like I know something about technology, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, so John Johnson, he did well in the first half. I'm hearing myself again, by the way.
Okay, almost.
You're good. So Myles, do you know what? Let's talk about Myles Garrett.
Mm-hmm.
Are they ever going to call a hold against the offensive tackle that blocks Myles Garrett?
No.
I know I tweeted out something. I clipped it. There's like 6.5 minutes left in the game. A clear hold. The white hat is literally within 5 yards, looking right at him. Nothing. Somehow Myles Garrett still makes a play, which he's a freaking athlete. And he didn't wear sleeves tonight, did he? Now that I think about that, he lied to us. But he did. The sleeveless Myles Garrett. 1, I would never talk shit to him and to his face, and 2, I would never want to block him. But then I feel like offensive tackles probably say that too, so they just hold him, and the refs don't call it. It's like
you might as well do it if you're not going to get called.
Exactly. It's only cheating if you get It's only cheating if you get caught, right?
Right. Yeah.
Is that the same?
That's pretty much.
Might as well cheat because you're obviously not getting caught.
Yeah, it's one play he was held like 3 times and they still didn't call it. It's incredible how much he gets held and nothing. It hasn't changed at all. It's been 2-3 years now that we've just continued to see him. I think he actually brought this up after the game. He's getting the Shaq treatment. You know, remember the Shaq treatment where he's just too big and he doesn't move when he gets fouled and stuff like that. It's the same thing here.
You're allowed to say shit. It's okay. It's
I know. I
WFY
also,
after dark. Hashtag WFNY after dark. It is 1 a.m. We're allowed to stay with who we want, Craig.
but yeah, it's because he doesn't look like he's not falling away or getting totally, because he's still progressing towards the quarterback even when it's held, and I think that's one of the reasons why they don't call it, because he's just so big and still so talented and strong that he can still fight through it and get to the quarterback. It's a really good analogy by Miles after the game, and I could see it. It's frustrating.
Wait, what? Well, I didn't. The only press conference I watched was Dearness Johnson, and the part where someone said, "Hey, LeBron tweeted about you," and he was dumbfounded. I was like, "That is so awesome."
Yeah, that was pretty cool. His story is pretty awesome too.
I know
we're going back to the
we're going back to the no. Do you know what? It's good because Scott Cordick said something about the offense again. So let's go back to the offense quick. If you haven't seen the story, we posted it WFNYCLE or on Twitter at WFNYCLE. He DM'd a bunch of professional teams. Was it Canadian?
What no, league was AAF. It's
the AAF.
That one that played like a half a season or something.
So he was just trying to get a chance. DM'd a bunch of teams in the AAF, got onto a team, dominated, and that's how his NFL career started. And it really is. I mean, there's probably a lot more stories like this out there. Yeah. But when a guy like Dearness Johnson has a big game like tonight, and then that comes out, you're always just like, damn, that is an awesome story.
It really is. And then he's getting shouted out by LeBron. So
he was literally literally at a loss for words. He was like, wait, what's you like LeBron?
That's amazing.
Like there's multiple LeBrons in the world.
Yeah, that is pretty cool, man. It's I love those stories that it just showed how much he's come through. That's why it kind of not surprising that he kind of stepped up today. He's the third back, only guy left on the roster that could do it, and he stepped up. It's just an awesome story. It's I love that he could do it.
It really, yeah, and I mean, he was by far the player of the game. Oh, yeah. I know I put it in behind the numbers as well. The Browns didn't have a receiver that got over 45 yards, I think, but they had 6 receivers that had between 21 and 45 yards.
Yeah.
And I mean, that goes back to Case Keenum, which is how I'm going to man, this is a perfect transition.
I think he had 10 completions or 10 different receivers, right?
Yeah. And as a game manager, if you're not going to throw it deep, just spread it out. That way the defense, literally, if your running back's dominating and the defense doesn't know who you're going to pass the ball to, it doesn't matter how deep you're throwing the ball. Exactly. Be a I was going to say I was trying to think of a point guard name, but we're not trying to talk about Kyrie in this podcast.
Darius Garland.
True. Okay, we'll go Darius. All
Your NBA assist leader, Darius Garland.
Oh my! Nothing like Mitchell Crawl of Mitchell Crawl of waitingfornextra.com would love you right now.
I love short-term stats.
Exactly. Yeah. Median sample size. That's what I say. But Case Keenum, Dearness Johnson by far had the best runs of the game, but I actually forgot about this, which Scott Cordick brings up. That 4th and 3.
Yeah.
Before we get to this, Kevin Stefanski, you're killing me. I know a lot of people were saying that it was a good decision to go for a touch or to go for it on 4th down there. But in a low scoring game where you're only up 3 points and your defense is playing decently well, yes, it worked out. The process worked out, but I don't really like I don't really like going for it there. I like rather than being up, I think it was I don't remember what the score is. It was a 3-point game.
It was a 3-point game now.
Yeah. But I would have rather had the points. Yes, it's easy to say now, oh, well, they got the touchdown. Yeah, I know. But I love being aggressive. But there comes a point where the Browns just haven't done well on 4th down, especially inside the red zone, especially the last 3 games. I know Baker's been sacked 4 times the last 4 games inside the red zone on 4th down.
Yeah.
But Case Keenum went out there and made a freaking play. No one open. it would have been a covered sack. He somehow like had like a little razzle dazzle move, fumbled it, but it didn't matter. And they called him down. That was definitely a fumble, by the way. The Browns recovered it. But yeah, funny. I mean, Case Keenum out there making plays with his legs.
Yeah, it was funny. Jordan Zerm he's on Twitter and works for the NFL and on Twitter and stuff like that. He said we have 2 quarterbacks that just will die for this team. He put himself. He almost got hit 3 times. He avoided both of them, which was nice. But yeah, that was what I said that he didn't really make a lot of big plays or kind of go out of it. That was one play that he actually went out of the play frame and made a play for this team, and that was huge. And I still can't believe he made it.
I was literally, it was one of those plays where I was like, no. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Literally, I was saying no from the moment Kevin Stefanski left the offense out there. Because like they like were zoomed in on Case Keenum after the 3rd down, and Case Keenum was like looking down at his like wristband. I was like, no way you guys are going for this again. But yeah, it worked out. So it is what it is. I can't really complain.
At this point, I give them credit. They're not giving up on what they do. They're gonna do it whatever.
No matter how bad they are efficiently at doing it, they're not gonna give up.
They're gonna keep going.
Eventually, it'll work out, right?
Yeah.
As long as you keep trying, eventually it'll work out.
Yeah.
Like the 3rd time's not the charm, the 4th time's not the charm, but maybe the 10th time is the charm.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's hard. Kevin Stefanski, he got a lot of hate last week for the way he called the game. This week, I mean, that first drive.
Beautiful.
And I mean, like I said, yeah, the first drive, literally, you couldn't. I know I tweeted out, you couldn't have had a more perfect first drive.
Yep.
Whether it was a screen passes, jinx, by the way, we both just said screen at the same time. Screen plays, Dearness Johnson, Case Keenum, just getting Case Keenum comfortable in the pocket. I mean, that is a perfect script. I don't know who came up with it, Van Pelt or Stefanski, or if it was a mixture of the both, but that was perfect. And then, I mean, like I said earlier, the Browns only scored 17 points, but the offense dominated tonight. Yeah,
it was a great game. We said it earlier. It was an impressive showing by the offensive line, by Dearness Johnson, and then by Stefanski. Stefanski, he had, I would say, probably his best game of the year. Really. I really do.
Now that even more than what was the highest scoring game earlier this season when they won?
When they won?
Yeah, didn't they win a high scoring game earlier in there?
They lost one.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying at this point. All right, before we move on to next week and final thoughts and stuff, JOK being out, I feel like wasn't talked about enough given Baker's injury, Nick Chubb's injury, and Kareem Hunt. But JOK, he's been one of the best linebackers in the NFL as a rookie. He was a 2nd-round pick. It doesn't matter. He's, whether it's his speed or his like ability to know through film what plays going to happen, and just like to be in the right spot at the right time. He is a huge loss. He'll be out for probably a month or so. But Mac Wilson and Anthony Walker had themselves one heck of a game today. And Mac Wilson on special teams and as a linebacker.
Yeah, he did. That was one of Mac Wilson's best games, which obviously that's not saying much, but it was still.
Mac Wilson, if you're listening, it's not saying much, but you had yourself one hell of a game tonight.
You did. Yeah, they played well. I still could see where the difference was without JOK. There's a lot of short passes that were completed. They probably would have got off the field a lot more if they had JOK. But they performed well enough, and hopefully JOK is not out too long that we can kind of survive this time. We're playing a couple of crappy teams coming up. One of them.
Whoa! Do not call Pittsburgh crappy quite yet.
How about crappy offense?
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
much better. The last thing we need is for us to be on like freezing cold takes. even though that would never happen.
Their defense
but,
is very, very good. I will say that. Their defense is very good.
And then they play Cincinnati, which is good too. What are you talking about?
Okay, we'll see about Cincinnati. They're playing
My
Baltimore. They're playing Baltimore this week. We'll see how they go. That's all I have to say.
Okay, the Fighting Joe Burrows. You have no faith?
Joe Burrows. Yeah. But yeah, it's coming out of this game. The biggest thing I'm thinking about is just this defense needs to get better. Still, they're continuing to have the same issues each day in each game. They can't get off the freaking field. It's excruciating. They get to the. I think that I saw this week that they're ranking really well in first and second down, and then they're like last place in third down.
They're like second on first and second down, and then last place on third down. But then that goes back to the whole thing about in the first half how the Broncos were 0-3, 0 for 3. I mean, on third down, 5 for 8 in the second half. It's like John Johnson, they were using press coverage. They're using John Johnson in the box. I don't know what. And they were blitzing. That's another thing. They blitzed a shit ton last week against Kyler Murray, who is great against the blitz.
Yeah.
Teddy Bridgewater is not yet.
No.
So, like, the two game plans should have been switched. You shouldn't have blitzed Kyler. You should have blitzed Teddy Bridgewater, not the opposite.
Like, it was weird because we saw the blitz work today. They Grant Delpit had one. I think it was the second.
No, he should have had one.
Well, yeah, but it still was an incompletion, so it was still worked out. But
it was at the end of the first half because I remember putting in our. By the way, I'll shout out Waiting for Next Year Discord. If you're not in it, join it. We sometimes have some good stuff. Actually, all the time.
We sometimes wow.
I'm kidding. No, but we. And especially during games, especially during Browns games, because let's be honest, no one really cares about the Guardians right now. But especially during Browns games, yeah, it's just a cool place to come talk to and stay off of Twitter because no one wants to be on Twitter during Browns games.
It's a safe space, guys.
It's very safe. But yeah, and now I totally just lost my train of thought. But yeah, just come join WFMI Discord. The link, I think Craig pinned the tweet on WFMY Lee. But yeah, I totally lost my train of thought. I don't remember where I was going with that. Yeah. But
overall, it was a good game, man. That's all I can say.
Yeah, and I totally lost my train of thought. Yeah. But yeah, overall, good game. It'll be, luckily, they have 10 days off. Well, 9 days off. They play Pittsburgh a week from Sunday on Halloween. That could either be a very good Halloween or a very spooky Halloween.
Yeah, that's true. Two shout outs. One of them is going to be a self shout out. I'm shouting out myself.
Oh my!
If you go to the preview,
I might just end this podcast right now.
Everybody wants to open up Waiting for Next Year. Go to that preview of this game. And just go down to the prediction line. I just want you to take a look see what the score was.
I so badly want to go into our dashboard and just change the score.
Just to give everybody, I predicted.
Wait, did you say 17-14 though?
I did predict the score.
Damn, I'll put that out on Twitter.
I have the lotto numbers too, if you want them.
And I promise I'll give you like 0.1%.
But yes, the other shout
that is actually quite impressive.
Thank you.
It would have been much better if I just realized that rather than you having to humble brag yourself.
I know.
Odell Beckham. I might just call you Joe Odell Beckham Jr. Gilbert from now on.
I had to. But yeah, the other shout out was Jamie Gillum. How about that? The man got a fire under his butt, and now he can.
It's crazy what you do when you are fighting for your job.
Yeah.
And I know I tweeted this out on WFMY CLE. His 65-yard punt. It was a freaking rocket. Which I mean, I'm not going to complain because it was 65 yards, but you want some airtime on your punts because they ended up. It was 65-yard punt. They ended up getting like an 11-yard return, so it's like a 54-yard punt, technically a fair catch. But it was his longest punt since October 7th, 2019.
Yeah, he was impressive. He had another one that was really really good hang time that they caused a no return. So it was a good game for him, and that's back to back weeks of good games. So let's see if he can continue with that.
Yeah, let's just every week, just the Browns should just continually bring in punters and try them out.
It doesn't
Just
matter. You can
those.
just bring up a shitty guy too. Just put in like you and me can try out, and we'll see how it goes.
All right, let's not get too. Man, Joe shouts out himself, and I was saying that he can be a Browns punter. We're getting in his head, guys. We are getting way too far in his head.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, I mean, it's 1:20 a.m. I still have to write about behind the numbers for WFNY. I don't know how I'm wide awake right now. Luckily, I was to say luckily tomorrow's Friday, but technically today's Friday.
That's true.
So luckily
Happy
today's Friday.
everybody.
And I just remembered that Joe is off work today, so I would do something, but we are on live video. Eli Manning did it and learned the hard way. No, it's, I mean, like I said, the Browns, they're 4-3. They just beat an average Broncos team. I mean, they started off 3-0, but they beat 3 0-9 teams. So it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, they took care of business. The defense did what it had to do. The offense dominated, even though they only scored 17 points.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can get a little bit healthier, even though I feel like the injuries that they have right now, especially with the reason I'm worried about Denzel Ward's injury is because he went out and within like minutes he was ruled out for the game.
That was a quick out.
Which is not good. If you're ever ruled out for the game that quick, that's not good.
I was hoping it was just a cramp, but yeah, it looks like it's a hamstring, which I think isn't that like his problem? Hasn't he had hamstring problems quite a bit?
I mean, I love Denzel Ward. I love the fact that he's a Northeast Ohio guy and was a Buckeye, but the guy just can't stay healthy.
I know. It's frustrating, man. It just every year it seems like he gets something.
I had to bring this one up. I missed this one a few minutes ago, but right now, Scott, I kind of agree.
No.
So far this year?
Not better. Pittsburgh is not better.
Okay, we're going to find out in 10 days.
Cincy, I will say, Cincy has played more consistently than the Browns, but yeah, Pittsburgh, no. I can't agree with that.
Bulletin board material for the Steelers.
Half and half. I'll give you half and half, sir.
Oh, man. But yeah, you couldn't ask for much more from tonight. For some reason, I was super, like, I was like down on the Browns all day, and then like 6:30 came, and I was like super pumped up for tonight, and I just had a good feeling. I don't know what it was, but the good feeling obviously did something because the Browns won, so I'll take it. Yeah, I honestly don't know what it was, but it was some good
magic.
The magic of yeah, and it'll be if Baker. I know Baker's gonna try to come back, but if he can't come back, it is week 7 right now. If he can't come back until after the bye week, which is week 13, it'll be interesting to see.
By the way,
yes, week 13 bye week. That's the second worst bye week you can have besides week 14.
Yeah,
especially for fantasy football owners who have bye weeks in week 14 too.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what this team does. Do they count on Case Keenum to start 6 or 7 straight games?
Yeah.
Do they bring in another quarterback? Do they? I don't know. One thing I do know is that it's not going to be Cam Newton. There's a reason why he's not in the NFL right now. 2, I'm just trying to think of like teams that aren't very good, but they have like a decent veteran quarterback.
We're not trading for Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson. Oh my gosh, that's the last thing this team needs. But yeah, it'll just be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what Andrew Berry brews up if Baker Mayfield's out for an extended period of time.
Yeah, it's something to watch because if he takes another hit, I don't know. Like the next one might be the thing that knocks him out. Like it's gonna be something we're just gonna have to deal with all year, and it could be touch and go the whole entire year, which kind of sucks.
It's not. I feel like this is kind of obvious. but it's literally going to be a one-hit thing until he gets surgery. But if he gets surgery during the season, he's done.
Yeah.
So being Baker Mayfield, he's going to wait till the offseason. But then again, it's a one hit.
Leave it to Baker though. He'll have the surgery and then he'll come back the same week or something.
I'll get the hell out of here.
That's
only Michael Bodie. No, that's only Michael Bodie's robots that can do that.
Yeah, I have to say, him and OBJ are some tough son of a guns. Like he's OBJ's playing with a popped out shoulder, just pretty much like Baker, and Baker's now got a broken shoulder, and he played for pretty much the whole season. I can't imagine playing with anything like that, and it's incredible. Those guys are tough as nails. So shout out to them. I know we don't really talk about that side of it. They're tough, man. I don't know how they do it.
And shout out, well, one, that is a legitimate shout out. And shout out to Joe for saying sons of guns and not swearing because he doesn't want to get in trouble.
Sons of guns. Yeah, the
sons
FCC
of guns.
The FCC might come after me.
Oh my gosh. But I feel like we already did this. But any final thoughts following the Browns 17-14 win over the Broncos?
Everyone just rest. All Cleveland,
including us,
Cleveland football players. Yes, that's true. We need to breathe.
My alarm clock is going to go off in 5 hours and 48 minutes, and I still have to write a story for Waiting for Next Year.
So you're not going to be able to sleep. But yes, everybody who can, everybody just take a breath. That was a good win day. We're back on the straight and narrow. It's 4-3. I think I just saw on NFL Network that we're in the wild card race, right, with it. So,
woo-hoo! I know I tweeted this during the game. Browns Twitter, if you're listening, I know it's a lot of you. I know I'm part of it, even though I wish I wasn't. Stop it with the roller coaster.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Like the Browns were 3-3. They played well tonight. They won. It's a 17-game regular season.
Yeah.
You guys were freaking out after week 6.
That was the only good thing about there being a Thursday game. That was the shortest week that we could after that loss last week.
Well, now it's good
God.
though.
Yes,
no,
I know.
Now
yes.
it's good. If they would have lost, it would have been a 10-day stretch.
I would have
3-4.
I would have probably had a poll of Ron and went 0 dark 30. I would have probably.
I feel like Andrew has gone 0 dark 365.
Yeah.
I sometimes wish I was like him, but I just can't. I can't. And I had like too many tweet notifications where even when I'm not on Twitter, I like still get the tweet notifications. Mm-hmm. I'm like, damn it. Now I'm back on Twitter again. But yeah, it's just crazy scrolling through the Twitter timeline during a Browns game and just like the ups and downs. Like, guys, in the wise words of Aaron Rodgers, oh man, I just brought up Aaron Rodgers during a Browns podcast. Is this good?
Wait, are you saying that he's going to be the Browns quarterback next year?
No, I did not say that.
We're
waiting. Wait, hold on. We're waiting for next year to talk about that.
Oh, I see what you did there.
But in the wise words of Aaron Rodgers, relax.
RELAX.
1, you don't need to tweet out every emotion that you have during the game. 2, a game is 60 minutes long for a reason. If the Browns are playing well or playing bad for a 2-minute stretch, it's okay. And 3, it's a 17-game regular season. They're allowed to lose some games. They're allowed to play bad some games. Injuries happen in the NFL. Like we said before, they don't happen as much as they have to the Browns already this year. But injuries happen. Just take a chill pill and watch the game and stay off of Twitter. That's my third.
And thank your lucky stars, you have a head coach that's a competent head coach.
For every Sunday, those are my 3 things. Take a chill pill, watch the Browns hopefully win, and stay off of Twitter. Those are my 3 prerequisites.
Things to live by Josh.
That's to be on my tombstone.
Stay off of Twitter.
Hope the Browns win. No, my bad. Take a chill pill. Hope the Browns win and stay off of Twitter.
Wow. That's pretty impressive.
I would say stay off of Facebook too, but it's not about to be Facebook anymore. So Facebook won't even be a thing to do that.
Yes, I can't.
Man, I'm just opening up a can of worms, especially by bringing up Aaron Rodgers during a Browns podcast.
I'm going to write it on Twitter that you said that he's coming next year.
That's crazy. No, I said you have to wait. I said we're waiting for next year to decide.
Oh, I gotcha.
Just like Baker Mayfield's waiting for next year to decide on a contract.
Man, what just a horrible timing for him.
Seriously,
for the team too. Like this is awful, man.
Like it's certainly nice to be in the position that he is in with money wise, but he is literally just throwing away millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
And do you know what else is crazy? Is that going into this podcast, right before I hit the live button, we said it was going to be a short podcast, and we are on minute 59. Every time. Last week we said it was going to be short too, and it was like 48 minutes.
Yeah.
And it is 1:32 a.m. on the East Coast. But yeah, final thoughts, Joe already did them. Mine are take a chill pill. Watch the Browns hopefully win and stay off of Twitter. No, but seriously. Browns won. It wasn't even the ugly one. It was 17-14. The Browns offense dominated, like I said. They only scored 17 points, but they looked really good. They managed the game, which is all Case Keenum needs to do against an opponent like the Broncos. They're 4-3. They have a long weekend ahead. Hopefully, I'm assuming they'll probably get most of the weekend off.
Yeah, I think they usually just kind of use the weekend to go off and then start the next week like a regular week.
Hopefully Kevin Stefanski doesn't go to one of his local bars that he owns and sees a blonde lady.
Or I thought you were going to go with
to Urban Meyer.
I thought you were going to go with the T-shirt like Freddie Kitchen before.
No. Wait, what was that T-shirt, by the way?
I forget.
It's like a Pittsburgh Sucks T-shirt or something.
Yeah, that was great. Then we got
brought to you by a local Cleveland T-shirt company where there's thousands of them. But yeah, 4-3. 4-3. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Last but certainly not least, beat Pittsburgh.
Beat Pittsburgh.
And always and forever, go Browns. Thanks for joining us, guys. Oh, actually, before I forget, this podcast, we are always Craig's gonna kill me because I forgot this at the beginning. One, this podcast is brought to you by Evergreen Podcast Network. Two, we are always live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So if you want to be like Scott Cordick and get some comments featured during the game, during the podcast, just leave a comment. Make sure it's not. We appreciate questions.
I appreciate Scott was the only one awake right now. So
yes.
I appreciate it.
We appreciate questions. They'll most likely get featured, and we'll talk about them, and hopefully they're not bad questions. Hopefully it's not bad words or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, just leave a comment if you're listening to us live. If you're listening to us on wherever you listen to your podcast, leave us a 5-star review like you always say. And yeah, thanks for joining us again. We'll be back next Sunday, Halloween. Hopefully it's a good Halloween. Hopefully it's not a spooky one. Especially that has a chance to be a really good or a really bad weekend. Ohio State, Penn State, Saturday night. Browns, Steelers, Sunday afternoon.
The real question is, will Josh wear a costume on the podcast next week?
Josh isn't known to wear costumes. This will be my costume. I'll be Myles Garrett.
You'll be Myles.
Yeah.
I hate hopefully costumes. A happy football fan.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll be a happy football fan wearing a Myles Garrett jersey.
Yeah.
I hate costumes. I literally didn't even dress up in college. Is that lame of me?
I stopped doing it in 7th grade, so
I remember going to Miami University just for the Halloween. I went to Ohio State, but I remember going to Miami University just for Halloween, and I literally didn't wear a costume out.
Were you one of those guys that just wore a shirt that said something on it and like, yeah, this is my costume?
I don't know, but that is a great idea. Literally wear a t-shirt that says, yeah, this is my costume.
That's the kids that we always get, like the about middle school kids. It's always boys that wear those shirts. They come up to your door. I'm like, good effort, guys. Good
Absolutely.
effort.
Good effort. But my favorite thing about Halloween is the day after Halloween when all the candy goes to 70% off. Now, those are the deals that I like.
That's the deals. And the houses that give you whole candy bars. Those are
exactly. Exactly. But I haven't been, considering I've been like 6'4" since I was a freshman, I haven't been able to trick or treat in a long, long, long time. So those days are long gone. But yeah, thanks for joining us. Go Browns. Beat Pittsburgh.
See ya.